Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this second part of 10 Great Success Stories, we continue with the last 5. Before we start, make sure to hit the like button and be my first subscriber. Let's go number 5. Sheldon Adelson, Las Vegas Sands, $35.4 billion at death. Born in 1933 to a taxi driver, a father, and a seamstress mother in a Boston tenement, Sheldon Adelson learned the value of hustle before he could properly spell the word. At age 12, he was selling newspapers on street corners. At 16, he borrowed $200 to start a candy vending machine business. Beat 30, he had already made and lost his first million. Sheldon didn't just think big, he thought impossibly big. While others saw obstacles, he saw opportunities waiting to be unlocked. His early ventures included everything from dicing windshields to selling toiletry kits to motel chains. Some succeeded, others failed spectacularly, but each taught him lessons about business, timing, and the power of relentless persistence. The breakthrough came in 1979 when Sheldon co-founded a computer trade show in Las Vegas. The tech industry was exploding, but there was no major venue where all the players could gather, network, and showcase their innovations. Comdux filled that void perfectly. What started as a modest trade show grew into the industry's premier event, attracting hundreds of thousands of attendees and generating massive revenue. By 1995, when Sheldon sold his stake in Comdux to SoftBank for $862 million, he had transformed from serial entrepreneur to legitimate mogul. But Sheldon's biggest bet was still ahead. Walking through Las Vegas after the Comdux sale, he noticed something others missed. The city's potential was artificially constrained by its reputation. Vegas was seen as lowbrow entertainment for American tourists. But Sheldon envisioned something grander, destination resorts that could attract affluent international visitors. In 1988, he purchased the aging Sands Casino for $110 million, then shocked everyone by demolishing it to build something unprecedented. The Venetian, a $1.5 billion resort that brought Italian luxury and sophistication to the Las Vegas Strip. Critics called it excessive, but Sheldon understood that in entertainment, excess is often exactly what customers want. The Venetian's success proved his thesis, but Sheldon was just getting started. He saw an even bigger opportunity in Macau, the only place in China where gambling was legal. While others focused on the domestic U.S. market, Sheldon was building palatial casinos for the emerging Chinese middle class. His Macau properties, including the Venetian Macau and the Parisian Macau, generated billions in revenue and established Las Vegas Sands as the world's largest casino company by market value. Sheldon had correctly predicted that Chinese consumers would eagerly embrace Western-style luxury entertainment. When Sheldon Adelson died in 2021, his net worth stood at $35.4 billion. But beyond the numbers, he had fundamentally changed how the world thought about entertainment and hospitality. He proved that sometimes the biggest opportunities come from seeing potential where others see only problems. 4. Duan Chang, Forever 21, $5.2 billion. In 1981, Duan Chang arrived in Los Angeles with his wife Jin Suk, their newborn daughter, and $11,000 in savings. He had been a gas station attendant in South Korea. She had worked in a clothing factory, and neither spoke fluent English. The American dream felt very far away from their cramped apartment in Korea. Duan's first jobs in America were humbling. Janitor, gas station attendant, coffee shop worker. He worked 3 jobs simultaneously, sleeping just a few hours each night, driven by the belief that hard work would eventually create opportunities. Jin Suk worked as a hairdresser, and together they saved every possible dollar. The fashion industry was on their radar, until Duan noticed something while working various retail jobs. The most successful store owners seemed to be in fashion, and customers were constantly seeking trendy clothes at affordable prices. The gap between high-end designer fashion and accessible retail seemed enormous. In 1984, using their combined savings of $11,000, Duan and Jin Suk opened their first store in Highland Park, Los Angeles. They called it Fashion 21, later Forever 21, and their concept was revolutionary for its time. Offer fashion-forward clothing inspired by the latest runway trends, but at prices people could afford. The early years were a family affair. Duan handled buying and operations. Jinsuk managed design and merchandising. Their daughters helped with inventory and customer service. They worked 14-hour days, 7 days a week, reinvesting every dollar back into the business. Their breakthrough insight was speed. While traditional retailers took months to bring trends from runways to stores, Forever 21 developed a system that could do it in weeks. They built relationships with manufacturers who could produce small batches quickly, allowing them to test trends and scale successful ones rapidly. The timing was perfect. The 1990s and 2000s saw an explosion in celebrity and pop culture influence on fashion. Young customers wanted to dress like their favorite stars but couldn't afford designer prices. Forever 21 became their solution, offering runway-inspired looks at mall prices. Expansion was aggressive and strategic. Instead of slowly growing region by region, they opened large flagship stores in major metropolitan areas, creating buzz and establishing their brand as a destination. By 2015, Forever 21 operated over 600 stores worldwide and generated $4.4 billion in revenue. The Chang family's net worth peaked at over $5.2 billion, making them one of the wealthiest immigrant families in America. While Forever 21 later faced challenges from changing retail dynamics and online competition. Cheng's journey from gas station attendant to fashion mogul remains one of the most impressive immigrant success stories in American business history. 3. Jan Ulrich. Servicino. $11.9 billion. Sometimes the most revolutionary ideas come from the most mundane observations. For Fred Luddy, the founder of Servicino, that observation was simple. IT departments spend more time managing their tools than actually solving problems. His solution would transform how every major company in the world manages technology. Born in Newcastle, Indiana, Fred grew up in a blue-collar family where his father worked in a factory and his mother was a homemaker. Computers weren't part of his childhood. When he graduated high school in 1978, personal computers barely existed. His path to technology came through the Air Force, where he learned programming and discovered his talent for understanding complex systems. After the military, Fred worked for various software companies, but he was consistently frustrated by the same problem. Enterprise software was clunky, difficult to use, and required extensive customization. IT departments spend more time managing their management tools than actually helping their businesses. The internet changed everything. Fred realized that software delivered through web browsers could be updated centrally, accessed from anywhere, and designed with user experience in mind. In 2003, at age 43, he started Servicino with a radical vision. Create IT management software that people actually enjoyed using. Working from his home in San Diego, Fred built the first version of Servicino himself. His background was in selling or marketing. He was a pure technologist who understood that great software should be intuitive and powerful. The early product focused on IT service management, helping companies track and resolve technical issues more efficiently. Growth was slow but steady. Fred wasn't interested in venture capital or Silicon Valley hype. He bootstrapped the company for years, reinvesting revenue into product development and gradually building a customer base that included some of the world's largest corporations. The breakthrough came when companies realized that Servicino's platform could manage more than just IT issues. HR departments used it for employee onboarding. Facilities teams managed office space. Security teams tracked incidents. The platform became the digital backbone for operational efficiency across entire organizations. When Servicino went public in 2012, the market immediately recognized its potential. The stock soared, and Fred's stake made him a billionaire virtually overnight. But he wasn't finished innovating. Under his leadership, Servicino expanded beyond IT into comprehensive workflow automation, becoming essential infrastructure for digital transformation. Fred stepped down as CEO in 2017 to focus on product innovation, but his vision continues to drive the company. Today, Servicino serves over 7,000 customers worldwide, including 85% of the Fortune 500. Fred's net worth stands at $11.9 billion, built on the simple principle that enterprise software should work for people, not against them. 2. Elon Musk. Tesla, SpaceX. $219.2 billion. At 17, Elon Musk left South Africa with $2,000 and a one-way ticket to Canada. Fleeing a country where his opposition to apartheid made military service untenable and opportunities limited, he had no connections, no guaranteed college admission, and no backup plan. Just an unshakable belief that he could help solve humanity's biggest challenges. His early years in North America were a study in resourcefulness. He worked odd jobs, slept in his office, and lived on $1 per day for food, surviving on hot dogs and oranges. At Queen's University in Canada, then the University of Pennsylvania, Elon studied physics and economics, but his real education came from voracious reading about space exploration, sustainable energy, and artificial intelligence. In 1995, Elon started his first company, Zip2, with his brother Kimball. It was essentially an early version of Google Maps combined with Yellow Pages, helping newspapers provide online city guides, working 22-hour days, sleeping at the office, and coding relentlessly. Elon built Zip2 into a valuable business. The Compaq acquired for $307 million in 1999. Most 28-year-olds who just made $22 million would take time to celebrate. Elon immediately started his next company, XCOM, which aimed to revolutionize online banking. The company merged with Confinity to become PayPal, creating the digital payment system that enabled e-commerce to flourish. When eBay acquired PayPal for $1.5 billion in 2002, Elon's $165 million share gave him the capital to pursue even more ambitious goals. But Elon wasn't interested in safe investments or early retirement. He had identified what he saw as humanity's most critical challenges: sustainable transportation, renewable energy, and making life multi-planetary. In 2003, he co-founded Tesla to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. In 2002, he founded SpaceX to make space travel affordable and eventually enable Mars colonization. Both ventures nearly killed him financially and emotionally. Tesla struggled with production hell, cash flow crises, and skeptics who insisted electric vehicles would never be mainstream. SpaceX faced 3 consecutive rocket failures that nearly bankrupted the company. Elon invested every dollar he had, borrowed against his assets, and worked 100-hour weeks to keep both companies alive. The breakthrough came gradually. Suddenly, Tesla's Model S proved that electric vehicles could be desirable, high-performance luxury items. SpaceX became the first private company to successfully launch and recover orbital rockets, dramatically reducing space launch costs. Both companies went from jokes to industry leaders within a decade. Today, Tesla is the world's most valuable automaker, and SpaceX has revolutionized space exploration while building a satellite internet constellation that serves customers worldwide. Elon's acquisition of Twitter, now X, for $44 billion represents his belief that free speech and open dialogue are essential for democracy. With a net worth of $219.2 billion, Elon Musk has become the wealthiest person in modern history, but his real achievement is UNT wealth. It is proving that private companies can tackle problems traditionally reserved for governments, from climate change to space exploration to global connectivity. 1. Jeff Bezos. Amazon, $171.3 billion. In 1994, Jeff Bezos was a successful 30-year-old vice president at one of Wall Street's most prestigious hedge funds. He had a guaranteed career path to enormous wealth in traditional finance. Instead, he made a decision that seemed insane to almost everyone who knew him. He quit his job to start an online bookstore in his garage. The idea came from a startling statistic. Internet usage was growing at 2,300% per year. Jeff realized this represented a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to build something entirely new. He didn't choose books because he loved reading. He chose books because they were the perfect product to test standardized, easy to ship, and available in unlimited variety. Working from his garage in Bellevue, Washington, Jeff and his wife Mackenzie packed books and drove them to the post office themselves. The company, initially called Cadabra, was renamed Amazon after Jeff realized people were hearing cadaver over the phone. He chose Amazon because it started with A and represented something exotic and different. The early years were a masterclass in customer obsession. While other companies focused on flashy marketing, Jeff invested everything in creating an exceptional customer experience Vast selection, detailed reviews, personalized recommendations, and obsessive attention to shipping speed and reliability. Amazon's IPO in 1997 raised $54 million. But Jeff wasn't interested in quick profits. He consistently reinvested revenue into growth, expanding from books to music, electronics, and eventually everything. Wall Street analysts criticized his strategy, but Jeff was playing a longer game. He was building infrastructure for the future of commerce. The dot-com crash of 2000 nearly destroyed Amazon. The stock price fell 94% from its peak. Employees were laid off, and critics declared the company a symbol of internet excess. Most CEOs would have pulled back, but Jeff doubled down. He saw the crash as an opportunity to build while competitors retreated. His vision extended far beyond retail. Amazon Web Services, launched in 2006, provided computing infrastructure that enabled countless other companies to scale without massive upfront investments. Prime membership, launched in 2005, transformed customer expectations about shipping speed and created a moat around Amazon's retail business. The flywheel effect Jeff designed was elegant in its simplicity. Lower prices attract more customers attract more sellers expand selection and improve customer experience, which enables further price reductions. Each component strengthened the others, creating sustainable competitive advantages. When Jeff stepped down as CEO in 2021, Amazon was processing millions of orders daily. AWS was powering much of the internet, and Prime had over 200 million members worldwide. The Garage bookstore had become a $1.7 trillion company that touches virtually every aspect of modern life. With a net worth of $171.3 billion, Jeff Bezos represents something unprecedented. An entrepreneur who didn't just build a successful company, but created entirely new industries and changed global consumer behavior. His journey from hedge fund analyst to the world's richest person proves that sometimes the biggest opportunities come from betting on trends that seemed obvious in retrospect, but required enormous conviction to pursue in real time. The common thread: 10 people. 10 extraordinary journeys from nothing to everything. Their backgrounds couldn't have been more different. A South African immigrant, a Mississippi girl in poverty, a Ukrainian refugee, a Chinese English teacher, a Boston tenement kid. Yet something powerful connects their stories beyond just ambition or intelligence. It's the ability to see opportunity where others see only problems. Howard Schultz saw a community in coffee. Jan Koum saw a global connection in simple messaging. Oprah saw healing in authenticity. Jack Ma saw commerce in the early internet. Each one spotted patterns that others missed, then had the courage to act on incomplete information. They shared an almost irrational belief in their ability to create something from nothing, to build entirely new categories rather than just compete in existing ones. They didn't just break rules. They often didn't even recognize that rules existed. Most importantly, they understood that building something lasting requires thinking in decades, not quarters. They were willing to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term vision, to be misunderstood for years while staying true to their core beliefs. If you take one lesson from these stories, let it be these: your current circumstances are not your permanent address. Resources are temporary, vision is permanent. The biggest fortunes in history have been built by people who started with nothing except an unshakable belief that they could create something extraordinary. So tell us in the comments, whose story resonated most with you, whose journey reminded you that impossible is just an opinion. Share this with someone who needs to remember that billionaires aren't born. They're built, one decision at a time, one day at a time, one dream at a time. Keep building, keep believing, and remember, your garage might just be the birthplace of the next billion-dollar idea.